Hello, and welcome to the 7th edition of the Comet Football Update for the 2017 season. I'm Matt Scher, and alongside me is head football coach Dan Musielewicz. How you doing, Coach Moose?
I'm great, Matt. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Now, Coach, a great bounce-back win for the Comets against Kalamazoo this past Saturday. Throughout the game, were there any positives you were able to pick out from the win against the Hornets?
Sure, a lot of positives. I think that we competed really well in the second half. Defense played extremely physical and extremely disciplined the entire game, and was truly a mainstay. And so we made some big plays. Again, I thought we made a huge improvement from last week from a consistency standpoint from the details that we talked about. So that was really the big thing and the glaring thing that stood out as far as a marquee improvement. And that's something that we stress just about every single day and every single week that we need to continue to get better at. So that was the big thing as we look at it this morning. Like, this was all right. This was a great step for us. Yep.
Now, the Comets had trouble trying to find the end zone there in that first quarter, getting shot 3-0, but then were able to score in the second quarter for a 7-3 lead. They never looked back after halftime. What can you attribute to the offense having that slow start to begin the game?
Sure. We watch it, we grade it, we look at it, and it's a consistency standpoint. When we made mistakes, they were big ones. They were play-killing mistakes, and it would be one position here every 5 plays, and you get into the red zone a couple times, and you're in a 3rd and 3, and you have a false start. So now you're in a 3rd and 8, or whether it is a 4th down and we miss somebody in protection, or we don't run the route at the right depth. Those little things where all it was consistency. We had moved the football, had gotten it down there, and that's execution. That is just doing your job. And so we were a little inconsistent from doing the little things right, and that's what killed a couple of those drives in the first half. And then, like we just talked about, the second half was 100% the opposite. Well, we still made mistakes, no matter what, but we made plays and we were able to do it more consistently. That's how we were able to put points on the board.
Now, the Comets held the Hornets to just 6 points on defense during the game. What do you believe was a big factor in the defense keeping the Hornets from the end zone?
Sure. Well, we played very physical football up front and in the box. We got a lot of penetration and pressure on the quarterback, and then really happy with the guys in the back end of getting to where they need to be pre-snap, communicating the right way with some of the things that we had to do coverage-wise, and just playing disciplined football. And then letting our guys just go play fast. And that was really the key factor, being able to do those little things correctly and play aggressive on the defensive side. So
and doing those little things too. I mean, you got Javon Walker getting 2 interceptions.
Absolutely.
And of course the big scoop and score from Tyler Douglas.
We had, I believe, 5 turnovers. Could have had it. We dropped a couple interceptions. We were really close, and so we played well defensively. We were where we were supposed to be able to make those plays, and that's a huge thing. If you're not where you're supposed to be, it's tough to be able to make a play in football. It's the way it is. If you're not in your right gap or you're not where you're supposed to, the ball usually finds its way there. That's the beauty of our game.
Now, on offense, the Comets had their best day statistically speaking. Lane Porter threw for a career-high 361 yards, and then Cornelius Sachs and Jacob Javon both had another 100-yard receiving game. What do you attribute to the offense's big game, putting the most points in the season so far?
Sure. Well, that wasn't easy in a 35-mile-an-hour wind. I can't say enough about those 3 individuals and their preparation and the time that they put in from a work ethic standpoint, and then watching film, getting better, throwing extra routes with each other. I think another big thing is Coach Brad Rumsey has done an awesome job understanding our strengths as an offense and our young men's strengths as an offense, and tailoring each week a good game plan that helps that. And so I think that's a big thing. And so I can't say enough about those 3 guys and their work ethic, their commitment to being prepared and to trying to be the best. And then Coach Rumsey doing a great job putting it all together.
Now, with his 166 receiving yards, Cornelius Sachs now just needs 72 yards to pass his former teammate Jason Barbosa in career receiving yards. With Saxon already having broken the career receptions record at Olivet College, he's on the verge of another career mark. What does this say about Saxon's body of work the past 4 years here in Olivet?
Well, I think we interviewed him a couple weeks ago, and the one thing you find about Corn is what I call him. He's very humble. He doesn't really care about those statistics. He's just going to go out and play football how he knows how to play football, how he's been taught. He plays with great effort. He runs great routes. He is disciplined with what he needs to do, and so that is certainly a body of work. Cornelius has been a player since he's been here. Since he walked through the door, he was battle tested and ready to play as a freshman, and has got just immensely better every step of the way. And that's certainly is a testament to his work ethic and wanting to be the best, and wanting to be the best, receiver for our team and maybe even the nation. That kind of stuff. He's driven by that, but he's not driven by statistics, and I'm sure he probably doesn't even know about that, to be honest with you. And now he will, now that we're talking about it. But that's the one thing that stands out about Cornelius. He's a very humble young man who just wants us to win, and he's going to do anything that it takes for our offense to put points on the board for us to win games.
Now, we also saw the debut on offensive freshman Matthew Ellis at the running back position. How would you rate his performance in his first collegiate game?
Sure, Matt played really well. Certainly put the ball on the ground towards the end of the game. That's something that we stress every day. We work on ball security every day. As a young guy, Matt is an absolute joy to coach. He's an absolute joy to coach. His attitude, his work ethic is nothing but positive, and nothing but you get his best every single day. And he proved yesterday that he's an explosive player. He may be the fastest guy in the team. I don't know. As a young freshman, we didn't do any 40 times with those young guys, but he is an explosive player. And he's worked his way in, has earned that way in into playing time as the year has gone on, whether it is at running back or special teams. He has great efforts, been a great special teams guy for us since the start of the season. And he's an explosive player that is going to help us out here in the future as well.
Now, lastly, how would you rate the Comet's play on special teams this past Saturday?
I thought we played really well, Matt. We only punted the ball one time, so that's always a good thing. We weren't 100% on PATs. We missed one just a little bit. We need to get more consistency there. For the most part, I thought our kickoff team did a great job at kick coverage. We got an extra possession, forced a turnover. We were able to recover it. And so I was really happy with where we were at. And, it's not easy to punt into a 30-mile-an-hour wind, so good thing that we only had to do it one time. But we are getting more consistent there as well. And you're going to have to be as you go through your league schedule and you play a really good football team this coming week, that you're going to be hitting on all cylinders.
Looking ahead to this week's game, Albion College is currently 1-4 and 0-2 in conference play this season. Now, looking at a 1-4 record, do you think Albion's better than that 1-4 record?
I do. Like we talked about last week, with Kalamazoo, they were winless. And you got to be ready to play versus anybody. It doesn't matter. And Albion College is a very talented football team. They're really well coached with that coaching staff. And sometimes you lose games on little tiny things, and that fine line between winning and losing is very small. And it is a rivalry game. And we're prepared to always get everybody's best. This is a game where it's always ramped up a little bit. We had Michigan State this past weekend, and I guess to a certain extent it is that type of deal. And there's no elephant in the room. It's been a long-standing rivalry, and so you're going to get great play no matter what the record is. Whether we're 1-4 or they're 1-4, we're all undefeated. It doesn't matter. We're going to get great play and great effort from everybody on the field. And so Albion College is a good football team, and they're a dangerous football team, and we got to be prepared really well to have a great showing on Saturday. It starts with the work that we put in today. Talk about one win, man. Yeah.
Now, in the first 5 games of the season, the Britons have rolled up an average 420 yards on the total offensive game, with an average 265 through the air and 155 on the ground. Does this present a big challenge for the Comet defense?
Certainly, and they've had an explosive, fast tempo offense for the last few years, and they do a really good job executing that offense, and they put your defense in a bind with certain dirty reads and some of the RPO stuff that they do, and you got to prepare for it. It's something that this is college football, and offenses are complex, and the games are complex, and you got to be able to put that time in to studying the guy across from you, understanding his tendencies and how that fits into the broader scheme of what they're trying to do offensively. Certainly a big challenge, yes.
Albion, which we know they play freshman quarterback Kyle Thomas this season, has over 1,000 passing yards this year, and is also Britain's leading rusher. How big of a threat is Thomas going to be for this Comet team to shut down?
He's an explosive football player, and he's a young guy too. And He throws the ball well. He runs their system well. And when the play doesn't break, or when the play breaks down you can cover it from a coverage standpoint. He's able to make plays with his feet as well. And that, as we know, in any offense in college, definitely presents just another problem that you have to face. It gives your offense a different look when you can have a quarterback who can make plays with his feet in the run game, still be able to keep his eyes downfield in the passing game. So you got to stay in coverage, and you got to tackle out in space.
Now, as Thomas has just said, being a guy who can lead the pocket as a freshman quarterback for the Britons, and only 5 games from his college career, how important will it be to keep him in the pocket and not let him take off?
That's paramount. You have to be able to do that and to know where he's at and where he's moving within the pocket. He's got the experience. He's a transfer quarterback from the GLIAC at Finley University, so he's had some experience, and that's been able to show from his productivity on the field. So he's a dangerous player. You got to account for him within their scheme and what they're doing, and you got to be disciplined on defense.
Now, Albion's allowed an average of 442 yards of total offense this year, 254 on the ground, 188 through the air in 5 games as far as the 2017 campaign. How important will it be for the Comets to establish a running game against Britons here?
The running game is what we build things off of. For us, offensively, and like we've talked before, you got to be able to run the football to be able to win games. I think some of those statistics are maybe inflated from this past week where things just got away from them pretty darn quick. And I know how that feels from having to deal with last week. We know how that is. So you can't always focus on statistics when you look at the quality of the opponent that you're playing, and they're good. They're a good defense, and they play hard, and they run, they tackle, they hit, and they have some really good athletes around. So it is going to be an execution thing from all 3 phases, not just on the offensive end.
Now, last question. This year's game is the 117th meeting between these two foes in Olivet and Albion in the rivalry. The last time Olivet played a home game here at the Cutler Athletic Complex against Albion defeated Olivet in that 2015 season. With that in mind, will having a home contest against your rivals help momentum-wise, being in front of your home fans, and will the Comets look to avenge that 2015?
No doubt. But being at home is great in front of your fans. Being at home against a rival is great in front of your fans, and no doubt that we want to win. That game's behind us. This past game's behind us. That's our philosophy that we talk about. Our focus is on ourselves, one day at a time. How we can prepare one day at a time, and compete one day at a time to be ready for Albion on Saturday. And so we're gonna work our tails off every day to make sure that Saturday is a game that we're prepared for. So certainly we want to win. Certainly we want to win the football game.
Well, thank you, Coach Moose. Good luck.
All right.
Look forward to talking with you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Our next guest for the Comet Football update is senior defensive back Javon Walker. How you doing, Javon?
How you doing?
Doing good. Could you take us through that play for your first interception, what you saw down on the field?
Well, first one, I noticed it was a pass, dropped back in my zone. I seen the ball go in the air. I just had an urge to go get it, intercepted it, tried to take it back to the house, but couldn't keep my feet.
And then on that second interception, could you take us through that as well?
Pretty much the same thing. I dropped back in my zone, noticed the ball was in the air, had an opportunity to get a second interception, so I took advantage of it, tried to take it back to the house again, but didn't work out, so I tripped up.
And now, as a more experienced guy in defense, are you a vocal leader or quieter and lead by actions on the field?
When playing defense, you have to be vocal, but I have my days where I want to come out and encourage guys and be as vocal as I can. And I have days where I sit back and I'm quiet and I just lead by action. So it varies for me.
Thank you, Javon. Good job on those 2 interceptions out there. Great game, and look forward to have a good week this week. That does it for this week's Comet Football update. You can tune in this Saturday at 89.1 The One, WOCR FM, or go to WOCRFM.com to catch all the action as the Comets take on the Albion College Britons. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with pregame starting at 12:40 p.m. Be sure to come back next Wednesday for the next Comet Football update, as Coach Musielewicz and I will discuss the rivalry game against the Britons as well as the game against the Benedictine University Eagles. In the meantime, you can get all the latest information on all of Olivet's varsity athletic teams on our website, www.olivetcomets.com. You can also follow and like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching for @Olivet Athletics. You can also follow WOCR on Twitter and Instagram by searching for @WOCR891. For head coach Dan Musielewicz and this guy, senior defensive back Javon Walker, I'm Scher. We'll see you next week for the next edition of the Comet Football Update.